Welcome to another episode of Repair Talk. My name is Jonathan. Today we are working on the J7 Crown or the J7 Prime 2. Either way, it's the J7 from 2018. We're going to be removing that screen and replacing it and showing you how to do so properly. To remove this screen, you are going to need a heat gun, some plastic playing cards, or potentially guitar picks will work. It's whatever your hands feel comfortable using to separate the adhesive around the screen. You also need some alcohol and microfibers to clean up afterwards, and I use a razor blade to pry up this screen. I recommend only at your own risk. Removing this screen is just like the previous model, not like the J7 2016 where it is an actual AMOLED panel. This is a TFT display. It's very cheap, so it is only adhesed around the edges where the paint, and I mean the dark gray, the light gray, whatever color of the phone it is, that is the only place where the adhesive is. So as long as you can heat that up and use something to separate it, the screen comes right off and allows you to get to the connector beneath it. With the heat gun, you can go around the edges of the glass, allowing a razor blade to gently lift one of the sides, giving enough clearance for a plastic card or playing card to slide underneath. With that heated up, you'll go all around the edges. I generally say start from the bottom. The sub-key buttons are recessed enough to where you generally won't damage them as long as you are careful and use a brand new card starting at the bottom. Working your way all the way around, you just want to be careful of the flex cables at the top. If your LCD is good, you don't want to go right through that. In this video, I did start opposite of what I'm telling you to do. I started at the top and worked my way down. Reason is there was glass that was missing over one of the sub keys. I didn't want to put that kind of heat to it, causing it to melt and damaging it to where I would have to replace it. So starting at the top, I can work my way down and barely put pressure on it and be able to lift it off without damaging it. Once you've gone all the way around, you'll be able to lift this up, and you will expose the flex cable that connects it to the motherboard below. It is guarded by a plastic guard, and don't do the rookie mistake that everybody does. There is a little section that is open. Do not stick something in there and try to open it. You need to go from the side, or you will damage the plug where it goes in. Now, I truly emphasize that. On the 2017 model, there were no capacitors around that plug. On the 2018 model, there are a lot of little tiny capacitors that a pry tool can easily knock off the board, and what do you know? Your device doesn't work anymore. Take my advice, go in from the side with a pair of tweezers, and you gently put pressure against it, and it just lifts right up, exposing that flex cable. With that connector exposed, you can just unplug it and remove that screen. Now, like every screen that you have to glue in, cleanliness and frame structure is very important. Now, the corner on this particular one was damaged enough to where the new screen would not sit flush. I use a Dremel tool to smooth it out. At certain speeds, it starts to melt it. Gotta be careful. I've been doing this for a long time, so my free hand is actually pretty good at this. I get it to where it works perfectly, to where I can put my new screen in after cleaning. If you do not get all the old adhesive off, it's pointless to even try to put a new screen down. If your corners are all dented in, it is pointless to put your screen down. Take my advice, clean it up, make it square, do it right. Once you have it all cleaned up nice and pristine, go ahead and test the new screen just to make sure it works. Now, unlike the 2017 model, this one has a unremovable battery. You have to go ahead and pull this mid-frame out, and we're not going to do that. We just made sure the device is powered off before we attach the new screen. Now, when you plug this up to test it, I do power it up just to make sure it is working. I do also power it down before I unplug it again. Once I have it tested, I'm going to go ahead and get this adhesive strip off. I'm going to plug it back into the board, making sure that that guard is in place over top of it, and that the home button is where it's supposed to be, including the speaker grill, which is now a recessed mesh. Once you have all that in place, you can go ahead and push the screen down, starting at the bottom. Make sure that it is square to the corners, and that the home button goes perfectly into the center of that hole. Then you'll be able to go to the top and lay it down, making sure, again, those corners are square and everything sits flush. Once I have that screen down, I use these little crank clamps to go around the edges to evenly distribute pressure to the new adhesive, allowing it to cure and bind to the frame. Now, what sets my store apart from other stores in my area is I will let this sit for at least 12 hours. I do prefer 24, but either way, I want that adhesive to truly cure. If you follow these directions perfectly, then you should have a beautiful looking product. I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time.
And now you know. And now you know.
If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you really like it, hit that subscribe button. What am I saying? Hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe. Later.